Alright, so what are we doing here? Looks like we're on the right thing now. Yeah, so today we are messing around in the lab and getting some stuff ready for the next group, the next professional Linux users group meeting. I have this course already, this one, the professional Linux users group Linux admin course. I've got this one ready. But I have to still work on getting this security one ready. So the security one's a little more messy right now. So I need to get that one going. And let me look over here. I believe I have a bunch of things set up already, for the networking stuff. So we're going to be doing some of these things. And I will leave that over there and get that there. Yeah, and then we'll work through some of these things. I'm going to pull some stuff up. If you guys have any questions about Linux or systems and you want to see how we're doing things in the home lab, let me know. We'll pull all these different things up that we need to look at. So that's what we're doing today. I can only probably be on for a few hours, but I'll be on kind of hanging out, talking shop with some of you guys. If I missed out on any follows or any of that kind of stuff, I appreciate you guys following. And let's get to this. So I'm gonna open up and load up a part of our Linux systems admin. But I'm gonna go to our security engineering course and load up. Should be week 2 now. All right. See if I can't get Security Engineering Part 2 set up. And this will be, what, April 5th when we do it? Okay. Let me pull that up so you guys can actually see that. Networking. There we go. All right, so this is what I'm working on right now. This little guy. So Security Engineering 2, second class meeting. And we're not going to be doing, if we had any announcements or anything like that, we would reschedule them. So that is what we would do there. So that's good. We don't need to review the syllabus for the second one. We've already done it. So delete the slide. We don't need to review the project because we'll already have done that. So go ahead and get rid of that slide. And then for this week, we've got to update our responses, our topics. So I'm going to need to work on those here. Clean these out a little bit. And then there will be a worksheet and a lab. So review. Sure we have access. So we know we have access to the labs for this portion, so we don't need that part again. But I do need to open up the worksheet and the lab. I'm going to pull those up over here as well, so I got them. And then I don't really need my lesson plan unit 2, so I'll leave that off over there. All right, let me get rid of that. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions about what we're working on, let me know. We'll also pull up, let me get my word can be. Let's look at this worksheet. Word docket. There we go. Move that over just a little so you guys can see both. Yeah, that'll be good enough for government work right there. excuse me. So I am working on the Unit 2 worksheet, which is this one. And we got to clean up this next part of the system. Okay. Gotta get some definitions and terminology in there. All the kind of things that go into building out these systems, right? We'll be cleaning up the links. So we get the links a little smaller. Probably don't need all of these for this week. Though I do kind of want to leave those ones. Okay. Useful tools, we still need all those tools. And then standards and compliance, that's right. Okay. All right, so this is what I'm working on right now. Just cleaning up this stuff. If you guys have questions, want to talk Linux, talk shop, let me know. I'll pop up I can pull the Linux back up in front of this stuff, and we keep working on that. If you want to know about the course, we're only in Unit 1 still, so we're still in the first week. So if anybody wants to join, you're not too far behind. I mean, there's a lot of work to catch up on. Don't get me wrong. There's a whole lot of work to catch up on, but you could definitely keep working on it. Trevor, you made it to Japan. Nice. Hopefully everything is good over there. If you don't mind me asking, what's the time over there? It's 2:39 p.m. for me. It's got to be tomorrow morning for you, I imagine, if you're over in Japan. So, also I found that I can't do Pretzel Rocks on YouTube. Pretzel Rocks is a little thing that does music, and if I do it, it's not copyright strikes, but you have to do revenue sharing, and I'm like, well, if I'm paying for something for streaming service and then it doesn't work on one of the streaming services, I guess I'm just gonna have to go cancel it. But we'll just go back to our stuff that's safe. We bought this off of I got this off of what's it called, Humble Bundle a few years back, so this is safe for us to play our music here. 6:39 a.m. That's not too bad. I mean, that's pretty reasonable as far as I know. You guys are moving the writers' room group a little bit, so that's kind of good. But yeah, I need to figure out. So the major things that we're talking about in this week, as it were. Let's pull this up here for this section. Oh, frickin' Ranger, that dog. The major sections are, we're going to do some of the, excuse me, some of the stuff we've been messing with the STIGs. We're going to do some sysctl configuration ones, and we'll modify those similar like we did in the other one. And then we're going to run a SCAP scanner, and we're going to just look at all the different component pieces of kind of what's happening within our system, right? And I think that there will be maybe some value here for you guys to look at this and see what's going on, see what we do to remediate these problems, right? How do we lock our systems down? Are locking our systems down the only things we do to protect our system? No, absolutely not. We also have good password policy. We have all these other things that also get built in. We have layers of defense, as we like to call them, right? It's a defense in depth model that we use for all these things. So, so that's where we're at right here. That's what I'm working on. I'll get that thing back going. How's Ranger? That dog. Also, yesterday it was frozen for a little bit, so it's kind of funny. We were looking at him, and I thought he was just being lazy. But the timer wasn't even moving, so it wasn't even really that. Oh, look at this. Need to add admin in again. That's super annoying. All right, let's go browse the dashboards real quick. This was lab servers. That can be those. This is going to be security. Security and connectivity. God damn it. There we go. And then this one would be, it's going to be logs again, but then the logs we're going to change to hammer. Then we're going to change that to just messages. So there's all the hammer messages. Okay. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. Little breakdown of what's going on in the lab and kind of what we're talking about and all that good stuff. So we got the website up, you know, the Professional Linux Users Group. You guys can go in there and check out the Enterprise Linux Systems Administration and the Linux Security Engineering courses. Those have books that are under work. You know, they're underway right now. People are getting them built up for you guys to go play with them. Got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on in the system, and Home Lab has a lot of work going on in there. So that's where we are right now. All right. So I need to think about how I'm going to do this. How I'm going to write this up. So we've done the security stuff. We've done the what is security, right? So how do we secure our network? How do we verify that security? I need to fix this because I can't indent these. Oh, what is wrong with these? See if I can remove all formatting from this thing. All right. So how do we secure our networks? How do we verify? So how do we secure our network? How do we verify security settings? How do we report out those security settings? And then within how we secure our network, we'll talk about the relevant STIGs, right? We will talk here about relevant STIGs. Relevant tools. And here we'll talk about how do we verify the security settings. You know what, hold on, we might just take all this off here. That looks at least better. All right, and then how do we verify the security settings will be probably some TCP dump. So tools to validate configs, traffic flows, listening, or what was that terminology I want here? All right, so putting all that into our Stig viewer. How's it going, Colchis? We're just cleaning up. I'm just cleaning up the presentation for this weekend, talking about the different stuff that's going to be kind of useful. Let's go ahead and delete this slide for now. I might do duplicate slide and say last week. So we might have a little bit of a last week review. Super annoying. All right, it's kind of important. Oh, god damn it. Super annoying. Fuck it, whatever. This week, overview. Using our tools, we're getting rid of this. Yeah, guys, I picked up some kind of something coming back from California. Just my lung capacity is terrible right now. So that's not great. So using our tools is going to become, well, I don't know what it's going to become yet. Just leave that there. Leave that there. Probably dump that slide. Okay. All right. So we at least have the high level set up now. Talk about last week. We'll just call that review. This week. Review. And then we'll go into everything. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on that. Let me reorganize this a little bit. Hold on. Shrink that down a little. Move that over a little. You guys can at least see all the Linux going. There you go. All right, I moved it a little bit so you guys can at least see some Linux while we're doing all this other stuff. There's a little bit of background stuff kind of happening. Dojo drummer, I had some sort of illness that took me out for weeks. Lots of sleep. Feel like I needed a break anyway. Now you feel better. Nice. Yeah, it's better. I mean, I went to wrestle this morning. I went to jiu-jitsu and it was just I said wrestle. Anyways, and it was I couldn't breathe. So I just kind of sat around and watched. And I'm hoping I'm better by tomorrow to go in and practice all these new terrible things I have on the white belts, but if not, I'll wait. Got all the time in the world. Just gotta start feeling a little better. I feel fine. I just don't want to go in there getting people sick, if I'm not well. So, oh yeah. But yeah, I'm playing music now that's not against the DMCA rules or whatever. The other music's not against the rules either. It just, they do this weird thing. They're like, oh, it's cool that you use it. You just have to profit share. And I'm like, well, I don't really even understand what that means, but this is all supposed to be covered by, using pretzel rocks. So I'm not using them anymore. So I'm just going to go tell them to kick rocks on their little subscription thing. We've just hit her 11th. Your 13-year-old daughter and I are about to start this week. Nice. I've been training for 22 years. So it's a fun sport. I started it on concrete floors in Iraq when I was an infantry guy. And now I'm just running around doing it on my own. I was in California from Wednesday afternoon all the way until Sunday training. So I have a bunch of friends that we all converged over there and two of my buddies got their black belts, so I was watching that. A few people got purples and browns, and then we just kind of beat them all up all weekend. It was good. It was fun times. And then Dojo Drummer, if you are involved with the sport, you'll know who you or definitely your daughter would know who the Rutolo brothers are. And I trained with Ty Rutolo this weekend, so that was pretty cool. His name is Ty Space Rutolo. TY. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But I trained with him, fixed my Darce. I thought I had a decent Darce, but I don't finish it nearly as much as I DARCE. This thing. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I was doing, and then I don't know if I just picked something up out there or if I just trained too hard, but I mean I'm just dragging this week, so hopefully I feel like I recover a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah, I read that wrong. Your wife hit her 11th year. Nice. She's got to be purple or brown probably. Unless she got her black belt. That's yeah, and I don't feel super sick, but I definitely don't I don't feel great right now. I think it's like as the days kind of drug on and I've been doing a lot of stuff. I think I got a few more meetings later. I gotta do some working meetings where I go and one of the Stig images that I built is not running, but it was running the other day, and then like 20 more packages got built or got dumped on it. So what my plan is to fix that is, and then they don't have a copy of my original image. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the base image of the whole system. We're gonna add everything they want to it in an image, right? We're gonna copy it, make an image. We'll put everything they want in it, and then I'm gonna Stig the box, and then that should allow something to start. But yeah, if you have a already hardened box and then you start adding stuff to it, sometimes you're gonna just it's easier to build the security up front, and then I'll work through it a little bit if we have to back anything off or any of that kind of stuff. So, and when I say it won't work, I mean the system won't even boot, and that's like a major problem. Like, but it was booting, like I first stigged it, tested it, everything was working, and then I kind of wiped my hands of it. I haven't even thought of that system in like a few weeks, and then all of a sudden there's this break, and it's like, well, is it the security? And it's like, well. So I gotta. By the way, in good engineering, I have to go exonerate my part of the process. But to do that, we need to get a working image first. So we need to go back to, right? You got to step back to what was the last thing working. And I mean last thing working before my stuff, because my stuff was working. But but the point is, we're gonna rebuild it. We're gonna work together. It's not a big deal. It's like a little team thing. I work on this other project every now and then for this other customer of ours. So I'm doing that on the side, and then other than that, I'm just kind of building out these worksheets and presentations for this weekend. Oh, I probably should tell you guys, we haven't officially announced it yet, but August 9th and 10th. Well, when I say officially announced it, I mean like in the Discord. I haven't made a meeting for it, but what we do is we get together on the 9th and the 10th, or whenever it is. It's just a convenient weekend in August where we get to celebrate this will be our 11th official year of Prolog and 6 years on Discord. So we're going to go, we'll have a bunch of different guest speakers coming in. We will have, the guest speakers I have confirmed already are myself, Sending Grounds, who some of you guys know Sending Grounds. He is one of our guys that works at a big cloud provider, and he does systems engineering and systems administration, but mostly systems engineering, and he writes a lot of bash type programs. So he's gonna, and when I say bash programming, I mean like full on, like, can be used by others, can be, sent out to other people, well documented, has good input control and good input validation and sanitation and all that stuff. So he has a pretty good talk that he's done a couple times with you guys, and he's going to come and update it and do it again. My talk is going to be the same talk I gave last year, but it's going to be updated. It's called Why Engineering, and I think a fair number of WHY. I think a fair number of people enjoyed mine. my talk, which was on engineering. I could pull that up if you guys wanted to see it, but I'm going to update it a little bit, and I'm going to do some talking around the search for ones and zeros and truth and all those kind of things as it relates to us as engineers. So I'm just going to keep building on the presentation that I have and just keep building in like simple engineering pieces that, you know, it's not actually my talk isn't even specific to Linux. It's just, you know, doing engineering and being an engineer, that kind of stuff. Oh, Colchis, 100% new software to a hardened box can cause issues. 100%. Especially if SC Linux is part of that hardening. 100%. All right. Well, let's see. What other things do I have? I didn't have too much directly planned. I thought I'd just kind of show you guys around some of the stuff we were working on. Get that out of here for now. We'll talk a little bit about the group. You know, the Linux admin course is free. I think we have about 120 people say they're coming to that. And I think we're up to almost 90 that say they're coming to the security engineering course. Now, you guys are welcome to come and hang out and not do any of the work. I'm just going to let you know at the end of it all, when there's these little certificates that go out that have a QR code on them that you can scan back and say, oh yeah, I actually, you know, that say you completed it, you wouldn't be able to get that. Let's see if this works. Like my validation here, and I don't actually have one, but if I had one, it would have this hash built into the QR code, and then anybody who wanted to validate that I was actually involved with that course would be able to do so through that full link, right? And it'll just be a little QR code. So some of you guys have them. Some of you know what they kind of look like. But I think it's actually pretty cool. It's like this ability to go and see that you worked on something. And if you don't have anything else, that's one more thing to put on your resume. You know, I worked with this Linux engineering group. I did the discussions. I talked through these concepts, and I understand them from a technical and managerial, like administrative type. Because there's plenty of people out there that are technical as shit, but they can't administer systems. You know, we're trying to make you guys ready to go out and do this stuff professionally. That's our goal. So that's the goal. Yeah. I can definitely tell when I cough that I got a little bit of liquid in me. But I've been trying to keep myself hydrated. I couldn't work out this morning because, you know, obviously the gym, I couldn't breathe. But I will be hitting it pretty hard tomorrow. Well, assuming I wake up a lot better tomorrow. All right. So, to our systems. Let's go hop over here. Let's check to make sure that we have, actually, hold on a second, is that right? Oh, there we go. There's more stuff now. There we go. All right, where's this at? If I am in Werewolf. Let's bang 1649. 1649. Let's make sure all our servers look up, or at least working like we want. And they all look like they're up. But to that point, they are all up, but it would be good to maybe give some of these the old kickover. Let's make sure nobody's on them. So I see one user all the way up and down, 2 users on Rocky 4, and 2 users on Rocky 1. Let's go okay, that's the other one from the system. Yeah, 3 is on there, 4. Yeah, nobody's connected in right now from. That doesn't appear as though they are, anyways. Let's go look over here. All right. So we could just start kicking the boxes over if we wanted to, or we could just go here. Let's do Rocky. Hit all the Rocky servers real quick. All right. Let's reboot all the Rocky servers. Give them a little bit of a clean. And then we'll do the hammer nodes next. Let's check our hammer nodes for uptime. Make sure they're all good. Yep. And then we'll restart them. I'm gonna give my system a little bit of a sleep. Like I'm gonna give it, I give it 240. So I'm gonna give it 4 minutes, 240 seconds, right, to run through, and then it'll start the restart of all those nodes. And the reason I'm doing that is because it gives the other nodes, all the Rocky boxes, the chance to go down, pull werewolf, and come back up. I don't have to hammer it all at the same time. Perfectly acceptable to just wait and, let them pull their images separate. So we'll give it a little bit of time here. That's not too much load on the system all at once. That should be fine. And then I asked this in the Discord earlier, but, is everybody ready for next week? Everybody ready for Unit 2 for the people that are doing it? If you're not doing it yet and you want to, you still do have time to do the courses. You just have to go get in the Discord, check it out. It's all free in there. You just have to go look around for it. It's not that bad to find. Just down, I think, in the prologue project section of the course. Yeah, I didn't play with that Wolf SSH stuff any. But I am going to probably build out Open On Demand for one of our nodes. And let me see if I can turn that on. Let's go look at, so here's the nodes that we're rebooting right here. So here's all the Rocky 1 nodes. They should be in a state of reboot right now. Or relabel. All of them should be coming back up. Here's our werewolf node. This is memory. He's got 8 gigs of memory and 200 gigs of RAM, 200 gigs of disk space. Right? He's got 8 gigs. And then how many CPUs did I give him? 4 CPUs. So he's doing okay. These boxes should all be booting. And then here shortly, all of these boxes are going to reboot. Oh, those are Rocky hammers next. Here's all the hammer nodes they're going to boot next. Where I'm going to put the other server will be probably where this Llama box is. So the Llama box was running our, remember if some of you were around, we were running a, I want to say this was like an 11 billion parameter model in Llama called code something. Anyways, so we were running it in there and we were doing it all on 32 gigs of RAM and then I think 32 CPUs. Yeah. So this box was kind of getting the bulk of what was going on in the network. But what we're probably going to do is take this box down. We don't really need Llama in the network anymore, right? Like we don't really need him doing that Llama function. And what we'll probably do is we'll build up a very similar box to him And instead of running the llama on it, we're going to run the, what's that called? Open on demand. We're probably going to turn on some open on demand and see what that looks like, because that's a pretty good little tool. Open on demand has some pretty good functionality, so we'll go ahead and kill this llama guy off. I will, I'll go ahead and I'll just convert him down to a template in case I want him for later. So, oh. All right. So those all failed, but the reason they failed is because they're now down. They got to restart. Oh, reboot. Oh, we just do reboot. I don't know what I was thinking with restart. That's an older command. So they're all going to go down, and then we'll go back to the original Rocky boxes and see if they're coming up yet. Some of them should probably be ready by now. So we'll go ahead and hang out on them. Nope, they're not up yet. Going pretty slow. Yep. We'll give them another 3 minutes. All right. While we sit here and talk. How's it going, Zorgol? We are not working too hard. We're just co-working a little bit and putting on some updates in the home lab here. Just kind of building stuff out and making sure that the nodes are going down and coming back up clean. And then we're going to, verify that the environment's good for users to log in on. We're in week 2 almost, so we got to make sure that users are able to get in okay. And then we're going to keep going. This is what we do. You've been snooping for clues? Oh, I had clues up just a few minutes ago. I'll pull some up again here in a minute. Yeah. In fact, if I pull this out of the way, you might see some more clues in there. Pull that thing out of the way. What you should be seeing, or what you'd see over here, is like some of the things that we're doing this week. So these are kind of the clues for this week, I guess, if you want to think of it like that. It's the we're going to do sysctl stigs. We're going to look at how we can affect the running system, but also how we can reload the configuration from an Etsy sysctl .conf, it's Etsy sysctl.d directory, and then it's not Etsy like that. It's /etc, but apparently Etsy is such a used word. So we'll get it all set up. So we're gonna make sure that everything comes up. We're gonna make sure that everything's good, and then I do have to write up the questions that I'm gonna have. I got some questions that are some questions for this week, but I'll get to those kind of as I get everything else written up. You'll find that I make things like when there's multiple things that have to be made, I'll make them like by kind of going back and forth between them. So, yep, that's kind of where we're at. Your farm said, what's your opinion about using a cert with SSH? I think certs with SSH are fine. We can do that. I mean, I can do that with, what's it called? Vault, if I wanted to. You could just, I know a lot of people only use certs for SSH. The same thing that protects a cert is the same thing that protects a key, and that's that you never give the private version of it out, right? Once somebody has access to one of them, then they have access, they have as much control as anything. So my point in that is I don't think it's any more inherently secure than a key, but it is it's a fine way to do things. Whatever you guys use, you have to use something to protect it. You got to use something to, keep it secret, keep it safe, all that good stuff. Those Rocky nodes are taking their time I want to pop this back up and see if the Rocky nodes are okay. Oh, they're all having network problems. Yeah, it's interesting when they all go down. Let me pop this up so you guys can see this real quick. This is funny. There's just a blood red screen right there of all the nodes that are not coming back. And why they're not coming back is going to be something I'm going to investigate right here. What is a good way to manage such certs and see it? Yeah, so, I mean, you just have to have some kind of public key infrastructure. You have to have some kind of internal tool that allows you to connect to them and rotate them. So there's tools that'll do it. Vault is a good one. Vault is pretty well known. See, this box is going to boot. All these boxes will boot now, but they did not boot originally. That's weird. But yeah, I mean, all of those are fine tools. Let's go start all these. All these nodes did not come back up. There's like a networking. I'm not sure exactly what the networking thing is in the environment, but there's some networking thing that's not behaving like I expect it to. Yeah, see, these are all grabbing their configs. Yep. 3, 4. Yep, there we go. All right. So we found it. Yeah, it's HashiCorp Vault, by the way. HashiCorp Vault. They can do it. Now, the one problem with HashiCorp Vault is that it's business source license now, so you got to think about that. But it's not that big of a deal. It's just a thing. As long as you're not competing directly with them. If you're competing directly with them, you got to pay them. And not everybody loves that. So, Sea Beans, how's it going? Thanks for the follow. We're not working too hard today. We're just kind of hanging out and checking out the systems. Getting my systems back up. So now I have a feeling that network thing is going to go to the other node as well and give these nodes the same general problem. No, those ones are all, these ones look like they all worked. Or did they fail? Let's see. So, Rocky boxes, not all up yet. But are the hammer boxes all back up? Yeah, Rocky is not all back up yet. Come on, system. Let's go to hammer. Check our hammer boxes. Are they all back up? Or are they a big old mess too? Yeah, they're all back up. So they're not having that problem that the Rocky boxes were. But maybe the Rocky boxes just hadn't been rebooted in a while since I last messed with the network. I'm not 100% sure. But they should be coming up. Kind of slowly as they pull. Yeah, they're all coming up right now. All right, so we'll give them we'll give them another 5 minutes, and then we'll sit here and just hang out and talk for a little bit. If anybody's hanging out and talking, that's what we're doing right now. We're just keeping an eye on the systems, making sure they're coming up clean. Hopefully the Rocky servers have bypassed whatever is happening to them, that network connection thing, and now hopefully that's not a problem anymore. I'm trying to think of what I changed in the network. I haven't changed anything in the last 9 days, that's for sure. That's when they were last rebooted. So I showed you guys around C router, but I didn't change anything on C router. So that should be fine. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just... Actually, I'm not 100% sure what could be going on there. You have to go dig in a little bit. dig in and see what they're doing. But for now, we're just going to let them boot up. Zorgal, so how do you practically manage your own key methodology between different systems and network switches, etc.? Well, so for me, I tend to use keys per cluster. So each cluster, each different customer cluster that I work in, we will use either our own personal keys or root keys to be able to jump into all the boxes. It really depends on the type of policies and security posture of an organization. If they don't let you jump around as root, then you have to use some other keys to get around, right? But in that case, I'm just managing passwords then, because it's my passwords to get in places. However, if you're allowed to, or if I'm allowed to, I can generate my own keys from my local machine, like one of my local Linux boxes, and then I could connect up to any customer by pushing my keys up there, right? Then once I'm in there as a user off of a jump box, then I can become root or do whatever, but almost universally with a password, right? And then once I become root or a super user of some type, then I can jump around. And it really depends how you want to do things. If an organization's absolutely against keys, they're like NIST 800-57, who is that? I'm never going to use it. Then what you could do is say, all right, well, then I'll just use Ansible. And if they'll let you use passwords everywhere, Ansible will take your password everywhere for you. They'll push your password around. And then, that's another thing, you can rotate keys with Ansible pretty easily. But that being said, if a node's offline or something like that, you have to keep older versions of the keys, because when you rotate keys, if you rotate off a key and then like 10 nodes are down, when they come back up, you're no longer communicating with them. So hopefully that answers that. That's kind of how I do things. A lot of organizations will go as far as to use a tool like, what's a common one? What's that Key Vault? The one that everybody uses, CyberArk. And every morning you got to go in and check out your credentials. It'll rotate your credentials on all your Linux boxes every day. And then you, when you want to become root or you want to become a super user as a service admin or something, then you can become that user from your user. So you check out your user, kind of cross that first little bridge, get over there in where you can then, with a correct password that is shared probably in CyberArk as well, become a service user. That service user then can jump anywhere in the environment with keys because they're allowed to. And then they can, use them for Ansible tasks or whatever. And you don't jump all the way up to root, because root, even though you're using root privileges, you're not jumping all the way up to root. You're causing your system to jump over in sudo. So there's more of a trail of what happened and who's doing stuff. That's a way, Zorgal, that's a way that I've seen it work well, yeah. Yeah, CyberArk's a perfectly fine tool for that kind of stuff. Is it annoying? Absolutely. Having to check out your password every morning and having your password so long that you have to just keep it copied somewhere to be able to use it is a super annoyance. Some might even say it's kind of a cyber, a security vulnerability, right? So, but that is a thing that works. Yeah, Zorgal. CyberArk's pretty. I mean, I'd say it's big enough to put on a resume. If you're working on it and you're familiar with it, it's a big enough tool with enough push around the industry to be on a resume. Yeah, especially if you're talking users and cybersecurity stuff. All right, look, all those Ansible Rocky boxes are up. So now let's just say all. Just hit all the boxes. Check all the boxes. By the way, I feel like it's like the last nice few days in Phoenix before it gets too hot to go outside anymore. Because we have kind of like a cool wind blowing through right now. It's kind of nice outside. All right. So all of our environment's up and clean. If I wanted to, I could come over to this box and I can jump in as each of those different users and test that we can connect all the way through. But I'm pretty confident in that, unless somebody wants to see that specifically. And then once we jump through, then we're good on that. I can also close down my XCPNG because I don't think you guys need that anymore. All right, so let me get that out of the way. Yeah, but you know, that's what we're doing around here. I'm talking about the course that's coming up, Linux Systems Administration. We're doing that this Saturday. We're in Unit 2 this Saturday. Then in the Security Engineering course, we're also in Unit 2, which will be mostly securing the network connection. We'll look at hardening the connection to the network. We'll look at validating what's open and what's not on a network. We'll look at seeing what's happening with traffic flows as they actually happen on the system. And then when we're all done, we'll probably look to report that out to the the customer, or maybe not even the customer, not maybe our security team. You know, maybe our security team is our governance, risk, and compliance, and they want to talk to us about the security of our system. So they want to make sure that everything is right as rain. Right. All right. We were talking about this yesterday. These boxes come up, but they still come up with their prom tail running. So they're sending off the logs in real time. By the way, right here, we should see all of those nodes having rebooted. We should have seen all the reboots down here with these hammer systems. We should have seen their full... This is just raw parameters for the shell. Rebooted the boxes. Anyway, so there's a lot of good info that we could have in here. I do intend to get a little more information because we have all the logs going in there, and mainly like every log in and log out and being able to graph that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, so I'm kind of being a little lazy. So that's kind of my normal. That's kind of my normal posture around here, anyways. So. All right. All right. Let that spin a little bit. Keep an eye on the traffic in our network. By the way, if I had been keeping track of the last, 10, 15 minutes or so, we would have seen all that high traffic because the system was getting hammered. But right now, well, it's not too bad. System's pretty chill because it's not really pushing much information up to the other servers anymore, so it's not too bad. All right. Go look at. Can we see Ranger? Where's Ranger? Ranger's not on his bed right now, guys. I don't know where my dog is. Ranger could be anywhere. Oh, all right. I need to turn this back on. I'm going to point out this other word. There we go. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get this thing looking like how I want it to. There we go. All right. That's the wrong worksheet, though. Okay. All right. Let's mess around with this a little bit. I'm gonna move this like this. I'll make it a little bigger. I'll move this over here. Maybe that'll be out of the way enough over there. That's fine. There you go. All right. So we're gonna build some stuff. So sysctl-a, if you guys have never used it, will show you all these system. Let's just do more. And there's all these different tunable parameters around file systems, around the kernel, around devices, kernel type things and what's happening in there. And there's a whole bunch of these that we set to determine the behavior of, like, when there's a kernel panic or any of these other things that can kind of happen in the system. But what we want for the networking is, what are we doing with IPv4 specifically against a configuration of all, but also what is the default for how it behaves when certain things happen, right? You can also set these on each specific interface. So I've got ETH0, I've got loopback, right? But for me, and I kind of did this earlier. So let's do sysctl grep-i forward. So we're going to grep first for IPv4, and then we're going to grep a second time for forward. And this is if our system will forward or not. 0 means our system will not be forwarding traffic. So if I were to tell you that the primary duties of a router are path determination and packet switching, or forwarding of packets, if you will. If this is not set to forwarding, they're all set to 0. Does that mean that this could be used currently right now as a router, or no? If you were just spitballing it here, do you guys think this system can be used as a grep-i? Okay. So that's something that we can set up. And then we might just look for just fun little stuff like that. Right. And we might do we might do another one that is just panic's a good one. Has nothing to do with, but it does have to do with what's going to happen when our system has a panic. What do we do? There's panic and there's also crash. Oops, is it not crash? Is it let's go look for it real quick. I know what it is when I see it. It's I'll see it, and there's panic. So what do we do when there's a kernel panic? But also that's not what I really wanted. Kernel. Oh, maybe I want a core. No. Could do core dump. That might be up here. So in our warm-ups, sometimes I ask questions, sometimes I don't. Hey Tani, how's it going?
Linux is a rare species of penguin known for nesting inside computers, surviving exclusively on lost data packets and digital breadcrumbs. It was first discovered roaming wild in Finland by Linus Torvalds, who accidentally domesticated it by feeding it lines of cryptic text. Linux penguins are nocturnal, fiercely territorial against Windows, and communicate through unintelligible commands and error messages.
I think that's fair enough. So let me keep thinking. That's actually pretty funny. I'm gonna have to put ngrep. Oh, I don't. I'm on the wrong systems, anyways. Hammer 3. Let's go to my hammer systems because they're the ones that we're doing. Tani, I'm doing good. I was wrestling all weekend out in California. I left like Wednesday afternoon, and I was out there until Sunday, and I got back, and yeah, I'm doing good. Feel pretty good aside from the fact that my lungs are kind of filling up with some liquid. That's not great. So it's kind of hard to catch my breath, but I don't know. That like started after I got home, and like I wouldn't call myself sick. I didn't go in on Monday, so I went in on Tuesday, and then which is today. I just didn't do anything. I just kind of went to the gym. Where in California? I was in Los Angeles area, like Irvine. But that's probably the last California camp we're ever gonna do because the guy who runs the camps, he's moving back to Colorado Springs where his gym is. So we'll be doing all our camps in the springs. We do about two a year. And they'll be back up in the springs now, the Colorado Springs area. And then we also do them down in Mexico too. So we're going down to Mexico in July. So that's always fun. Get out there and do that kind of stuff. I'm going to ask some questions here. Does this system appear to be set? How does the system handle panics? And then crypto, what are the settings you see is FIPS enabled? FIPS should be capitalized if it's outside of a Linux system. In a Linux system, lowercase is fine. Outside a system, it's Federal Information Processing Standard, right? I think something like that. So, Colorado's pretty good, Tawny. Yeah, I like going out there. Not a lot of air up there in Colorado Springs, though, because you're at about 7,000 feet. Is it 7,000? Yeah, I think it's 7,000 feet. Like 6,900 to be. Yeah, you can look that up if you guys want. But yeah, Colorado Springs is quite high altitude, and the air is quite thin compared to maybe other places in the world. So, but Tawny, yeah, everything's going good. We are running 2 courses right now in our little Linux group. We're running the Linux Systems Administration course, which is free, and we've got this little book online that people can go, download or run or whatever. It's still kind of being worked on. The guys are mostly done with it. And then we've got the Prolog Security Engineering course, which is the locking down of Linux, like locking it down according to standards. And this is not nearly as well built because I'm still doing it. And major instructional areas are we're doing securing the network connection this week. So this is kind of my 10-week of, getting people to understand how we secure Linux, right? I was going to try to split it. When I first designed this course, I was going to try to do 10 weeks and split each lesson and do the blue and the red team side of each of it, but I didn't have time. So we're basically doing all blue, all defensive right now. But there's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of people are working on stuff. Yeah, Tanya, you're welcome to join Voice anytime. We also we've got an event coming up in August. I'm looking for more guest speakers for, so you're welcome to come to that if you want to. No, this is online for us. Yeah, this is Tanya. This is all our stuff. In fact, people are contributing in the Discord here. I'll link this to the chat for people that want this. Drop it over on the YouTube side of things. Yeah, these are the courses. The second one, again, this one's still under a lot of work, but this one is, yeah, they build them in GitHub, and then it generates these books. So the books are actually generated from that. We're only in Unit 1 right now, so they have all the stuff people should be studying. Here's our recording from last week where we were hardening. We actually ended up hardening quite a bit of MySQL. So I was showing you guys how to use the MySQL and hardening and STIG compliance and all that stuff. And I think people had a good time with it. So, yeah. Miguel, hopefully it's useful to you over on the YouTube side. Yeah, and then, you just got to get in here and start working on stuff. And then I always have a digging deeper section. Like if you did this and then you found that, like, I only talked a little bit about risk, but you say risk management framework, that's the life for me. That's where I want to go. And I say, okay, well, cool. There you go. That's where I would go spend time. And then, digging deeper again, if somebody says, hey, I want to be one of these engineers that deals with risk, what's the difference between quantitative and qualitative? Why might you use them? And then you start digging down into these topics, which are ALE, SLE, and ARO, and what are they in relation to, and how do they help in risk discussion? So we did a lot in the first week around security, authority, will, and force, and the types of controls and how they relate to authority, will, and force, right? And then somebody put in a really good, in our Discord, somebody put together a really good little, let me see if I can pull this up real quick here. Excuse me. Let me turn on our Discord real quick. Transition that over. Discord should show up here. All right, so there's our little Discord, right? Hold on, let me make him here for a second. And what I was going to show you guys is in the discussions where we're actually having the talk, Zorgel put in a pretty good little, these are the types of controls. So there's technical, managerial, operational, physical controls. And then the control, and those are the categories of controls. And then the control types are preventative, deterrent, detective, corrective, compensating, and controlling, right? Compensating and directive, rather. So those are, I don't know what my brain was saying there. But then, do you understand these? Do you, does it make sense that if you do something that's managerial, operational, which I've always called the administrative controls, these used to be just administrative, does it make sense that if management makes a security policy or an acceptable use policy and you don't respect their authority because you're just somebody that's coming into a system, what would you care what their authority says? What is a controlling control? Did I say? I don't know. I don't know what I'm even saying anymore. ARO should be what, annual rate of occurrence? Is that right? I think that's right. And then what's going on? We're just hanging out, working on Linux, and I'm just putting together I'm actually just kind of putting together the course for this weekend. So that's what I'm doing. There's a bunch of information floating around up there. Okay, anyway, so that's that. And then, you guys, if you want to get involved, all you got to do is go down, get in the ProLug projects, and start doing some discussions, right? You got to do one discussion post a week that responds to the question, and then one discussion post a week that responds to somebody else. That's if you want to be involved. Nobody has to be involved, right? It's just a free course that's going to walk you guys through what it's like to be a Linux systems administrator and then a little bit about um, other stuff. Hayes, yeah, you can read nice. I've never seen a nice work properly on a system. As far as like, if I ever needed it, if I thought that doing that would help, I probably was already in a bad spot. So, Star Wolf said on the GitHub, "Where's the book?" Hold on. So if you want to know book stuff, come down to Writer's Room, and they've got all the information in here. So the Writer's Room section of the course, or of our chat, should have, like, I think this is the components. Yeah. So like if you wanted the security book, like if you wanted to just pull the individual pieces of it, I think that's it right there. And then you can go look at the workflows and stuff that the guys are working on and the stuff that they're doing. Yeah. And then again, these things get generated into the books. So the books get generated from that, and then they look like this. And I think the books look really nice. You can change this color scheme. I've been keeping it dark mode so it doesn't burn everybody's eyes out. But the book has, what we're talking about. It has the worksheet for the week along with a recording when I first gave the course. And then come down here and look through it all. Okay. So anyways, that's kind of what we're doing around here. We were looking at some of the original questions for the first week for people that want to go and answer. And one of the things they did was they found a STIG or compliance requirement that they didn't agree with. And they got in there and they took it apart. Hayes, I had a really good but long training meeting on Agile. Agile can be really good. Agile can be a good little type of training sometimes. Also, I see Rangers up and about. It's windy in Arizona, so maybe he's kind of up and about. And I know he was outside a little while ago, just smelling the air, smelling the pollen floating around. Because, that's Ranger for you. He's a very old dog, guys. Very old. He also likes to lick his bed a lot. And apparently himself. Alright, Ranger, that's enough of that. Come on, there's kids watching. Alright, anyways. So, Atticus, now I'm doing real good. Yeah, I'm just, I'm getting over a little bit of something in my upper respiratory area. But other than that, I'm pretty good. So, I am just hanging out, working on putting together stuff for the course. And we're not working too hard. Hayes, you said you've been a fan of Agile since the days of extreme programming. Yeah, I think that's. I think Agile done right can be good too. I think Agile in a sloppy shop, or with people that don't really care to run it, is kind of bad. Atticus now said, any advice on feeling stuck while working/studying? I would say try to focus on. Well, I guess that one's kind of hard. I mean, I guess the context of what you're studying might help, but I guess it depends, what you're working on. If you feel like you're in a funk, maybe you got to work on like different projects on your own time. Maybe you have to disengage a little bit from the system, I happen to be pretty involved with like being on systems all the time, but I also do a fair amount of, walking around and getting away from my system too. So, yeah, like if you feel stuck while you're working on something, Atticus, then for me, I move to something else. Like if I get stuck on something and I'm like having a real hard time figuring out how I'm going to build something or deploy it, then I will sometimes, well, I'm kind of a fanatic, so I'll stay on it, but I will sometimes get up and walk away from the system for a little bit. That's one of the things I do. Studying for me is a little different. I don't walk away from studying. I would probably just study something else that's interesting. And we have this saying, there's a saying in, it's actually a Gracie saying, and the Gracies are these guys that started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, forked it from, Kano Judo and Jiu-Jitsu and all that stuff. And anyways, there's this old saying where it's learn it on your good side and let your good side teach it to your bad side later. So, well, Atticus, that could also be it too. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it could be just a lot of stuff, right? There's a whole lot of stuff to work on. Yeah, I mean, you don't learn this stuff all overnight, right? I mean, you could learn it overnight. I'm just saying it's like you're going to definitely stuff too much into your head. So, yeah, Atticus, what I would tell you is just, if you're trying to do all those things, I would tell you just absorb, sit with the material more, work through it. If you really struggle, then go back to like the Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy says that you have to understand the individual component pieces first, right? So if you're struggling to comprehend, then I would say go and do like, go read the glossary, go read the index of everything, and say if there's any word or acronym here that I don't know, I need to go read about it. There's actually some really good. I mean, it seems weird, but there are really good like NIST what is it called? What's that called? It's not the appendix. Well, I mean, it is the appendix, but it's also like, hold on, I'll show you for any of these. Oh, god damn it. Pissed me off. For any of these down here, typically you'll have the, oh god, what the fuck is that word I'm thinking of? Guys, my brain is not fucking working right now. Jesus Christ, what is that word I'm looking for? Glossary, fucking A. A glossary of terms. Jeez, my fucking brain, man. I'm like in a brain fog right now. Anyways, you come down here and just look through these and understand what they are, right? Like if everything else is stuck, go to the glossary, understand the components. This isn't quite a glossary, but it's similar. God damn, and I don't know why my brain couldn't draw that fucking word out of it, but anyways, this is some of that right there. Because there's a lot this is a big elephant to try to eat in one sitting. It's too much to try to eat in one sitting. So, yeah, 800-53. Maybe you wanted to know about security and privacy controls for information systems and organizations. And then you just go spend some time with it, right? And then if it gets boring, I guess what people do nowadays is feed this stuff into a chat program and then have a talk with it. But I don't really do that stuff because I'm kind of too old, I guess. But there's a lot of stuff to go look at. And then this lists all these other things that you can go into. Oh, it should. Here's some other location that pops down into, right? Here, this will also jump you to each of the different areas. So, I think you might be able to control Z back. No, you can't control Z back, but my point is you can, spend more time with it. I hate to say it like that, but this is one of these things where you can't do one time a week, you can't do a couple hours a week. You probably really have to spend time to get good at some of this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Tani, I have your NIST document somewhere around here. Hold on real quick. I'm going to grab some water. Let me get some water in me. Give me a second. Let me grab me some water. But yeah, I'm not going to push it too hard. I'm just going to sit here and talk a little bit. Don't worry about me pushing it too hard. I'll be all right. Oh, so, what's happening over here? Fragile? Yeah. Fragile. So hold on. Digital Underground. Course stream. Will the course stream help me to differentiate between what is the status quo and what could be better in minute, simple steps, or just not denouncing that, just asking follow along, honest question, honest answer? Yeah, no, I'm going to make people follow along with stuff, but then I give them a bunch of other stuff to go work through. So there's like some lab stuff like that. But I'm also not going to make anybody do the course, right? Like you guys don't have to do the course. I mean, you can go do. I mean, there's all kinds of things out here that will probably, you know, be fine for somebody to go learn. You know, nobody has to do the course. So, yeah. Yeah, the course is just, of course, something I believe in because, you know, I didn't have anybody to show me around this stuff. I mean, I had a couple good mentors pretty early on when I was doing Linux, but most everything I had to learn in the wild. And I would like to, I think it's a good idea to help the next, you know, generation along a little easier than how I had it. So that's just my thoughts on it. So. No, I guess maybe my method of like administration or teaching administration is more along the lines of like, here are tasks, here are how the tasks are needed in the industry. Here's what people need. Like nobody runs a Linux server to run a Linux server. They run a Linux server to be a web server or a database server or whatever. So what the course is all about is how do you keep those services running? How do you check things in those services and that kind of stuff? But I mean, it's not, I mean, there's no, I mean, I wouldn't say like status quo is a thing because there's a discrete set of steps to get to a right output, right? As far as like installing Apache, you can only do that a few ways. And then installing Apache and securing it, there's, I guess, many ways, but I try to show the guys what the things are that you're trying to secure. We did MariaDB last week, so that's a better example. So install MariaDB, turn it on. All right, MariaDB is running. We open up our Stig viewer. We say, okay, we need to make sure that all of the logs are going to syslog. Well, I don't know why that's going to go to syslog, but we know that that's what the Stig says. And then we say, okay, well, if we send all of our logs to syslog instead of the default like /MariaDB / you know, audit log or whatever, we send everything to syslog. Well, now the system can control those logs, right? The system that it's kind of attached to. And then that system with maybe our syslog running, or maybe if we have like Splunk or something like that, then now we're offloading those logs in real time. We're absorbing that MariaDB into our logging infrastructure. And that's best practice in an industry. That's allowing us not to have to be the experts in all things. We can be feeding data out of our systems and allowing that data to inform people who focus on data analytics, right? Because we're Linux engineers. Like I can do basic data analytics stuff. Like I can tell you how a server's doing. But if you were like, hey, Scott, are you really sitting around all the time and keeping track of how many times the log is saying something throughout a day? Not very often, right? I'll go look it up and I can do some cool awk and grep type stuff. But I can't, but I'm not looking at that all the time. That's what our logging infrastructure is for. So I send the stuff off. And then that makes sense because then you say, well, MariaDB was just going to be its own little entity in our environment that was just running on port 3306 on a box and it was just doing whatever. But now it's part of the infrastructure. It's actually enterprise ready as far as it's part of our logging and our system security profile, all those kinds. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I kind of show. That's what we've been doing in the security course anyways. In the administration course, we're turning stuff on, we're turning it off, we're moving around the system. We start out slow so people that have never touched the Linux box before can at least have a basic understanding of Linux. And then we start going into, you know, some security and then some Kubernetes and we start with Docker and then Kubernetes. So that's what the course is about. Oh, I don't even know what that says. I've always called it MariaDB, and I've heard people call it Mariah. Mariah. I don't like that. I'm gonna keep calling it Maria because that's how it's spelled. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's spelled. Hold on. But that's how it's spelled. So if they wanted it to be Mariah, they should have spelled it Mariah. They spelled it Maria. Right? I mean, am I confused? I'm 100% sure that should not be Mariah. Unless you have an H on the end. But they're the H doesn't exist. Pretty sure it's Maria DB. But they could be wrong if they want, I guess. It's just like GIF and GIF. GIF is objectively the right way to say it. But GIF is the way that one out of 99 other people that made it said that the protocol should be used. And people think it's GIF because of that. But it's objectively GIF. But I call it SQL. Or SQL. I call it both. I don't care. Yeah. Well, you enrage people if you say any of those wrong. First Acorn over on YouTube. How's it going? We're not working too hard. I'm just putting together some training for this weekend. And just letting people know that we've got a Linux group that's out there that they can hang out with. Letting people know that there's systems. Yeah, Hayes, thanks for coming by. Have fun. I think you were spinning up a new track, weren't you? You're doing something. Spinning. I said spinning. No, whatever. We'll figure it all out. Also, my wife's bringing home food in like an hour. Actually, we've got food here. We get this really good. There's this really good pork that you can get over at Costco, and then you just heat it up. So she's gonna heat a bunch of that up, and then we just have it for like throughout the week. It's pretty good. It's like a pulled pork, but it doesn't have any barbecue sauce on it. You can put barbecue sauce on it yourself, but you don't have to have it, Let me link that because I don't think this over here. There's our Discord, and I'll put that Discord link over on the YouTube side of things. So people over on YouTube, if you want to go hang out in Discord, you can. There you go. Jojo said the seal one, the elephant one, the feather, the dolphin. I think my goal for this weekend is to spin up Ralph from the dev portal and install a Grafana stack or something. Hey, Starwolf, if you do that this weekend, Colekiss is sometimes around. And Colekiss has a repository out there that does all that, depending on what version you use. So. So, Pac, if people want to do the Discord, or if they want to do the course that looks like this, give me a second here. It looks like this. So, what would happen is you would jump into the Prolog projects, and in the Prolog projects, first off, before any of that, you would start up here in the top. And there's a Linux sysadmin course that you would say you were interested in, and then a Linux security engineering course. You'd probably just be in, let's just say the first one, right? Let's say you were just doing this Linux sysadmin. And then you would show up during, and this would be in your time zone, right? So it would be your time zone. And then what you would do is you would show up during the time. We'll be down here in this chat and conferences and guest speakers. And then you would come into the Prolog project section, and you would answer these questions and kind of get involved with the discussion posts, right? But then there's also some security discussions and other things. But if you're just doing the admin course, you would just be in these discussions here. And then you would answer questions and do all those kind of things. Starwolf, he did everything in Ansible. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I'm pretty sure he posted it up after he did it. He might have posted an Ansible code. When he got all done with it, I think he linked it here. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. Hold on, let me see if he did it up here. I could have sworn when he was done, he put it in. This, it would have probably been right around here when he got done. Because we got done right at the end of January last year. Or this year, rather. I don't see, shoot, I don't see Colchis thing. I don't know where he put it, but it's in there somewhere. You guys can look for it. If that's something that's interesting to you, go look for it. But anyways, he's got a thing that runs it. Yeah, you just have to have the nodes that you're going to run as any of your... Yeah, he's got it all in there somewhere. I could look for it later. But first Acorn, I'm going through the first 4 videos under beginner start here before diving into the course. Well, that's fine. Yeah, you can do that first Acorn. You guys are welcome to do as much or as little of this stuff as you like, right? You guys are, everybody's just kind of welcome to hang out and do as much Linux as they want. We were talking about NixOS a little bit yesterday too. And I was saying I haven't done NixOS professionally, but there's a fair amount of you guys that seem to be pretty enamored with it. See what's going on with Nix here. Interesting. That looks like an interesting thing. We were talking about that yesterday. A little bit. Oh, Verse, was that you that asked me about that? Yeah, I will get that set up here. I've got those. Hold on a second here. I thought I sent those already, but maybe I didn't. Give me a second here. There you go. All right, I sent them to you, Verse Acorn. You got them. All right. All right. What else we got? Yeah, we were looking a little bit. I had forgot that we had even set up the Wazoo in our system, in our environment. So we have this nice little fun thing. Although, I mean, like, how much it really does, I don't even know. All right, hold on a second here. Well, I don't even care. I mean, we don't use it for probably the full power that it could have. So we just kind of we're not using it completely like it could be, but all right. That's what we're working on. That's what we got. Where'd Ranger go again? We could probably start deleting some of this stuff that we're not using. That looked too much like little bugs. I didn't like that. That was kind of weird. I don't know who drew that, but that's annoying. All right, let's install Open On Demand. Let's look at what we need. Oh, yeah. Good old Slurm. All right. Yeah, I got a lot to do if I'm going to set up Open On Demand. But I might do it. I might set it up just to get some configurations out there. We'll probably use Slurm as the back end so that we can control everything. And we could probably do a fair amount of little work with that. That would be kind of fun. So all right. So what I'm gonna do probably is drop off of here. I don't know. Maybe I am more tired than I thought I was, but we'll be working on this stuff. We'll have everything ready for Saturday for everybody to come in and hop on the systems and do their work. Remember, the Linux sysadmin course is about 2 hours before the Linux systems engineering course. So I always do the admin course first, get done with that, take a little break, and then we do the security engineering course. So, all right, we'll go hop over and raid somebody on the Twitch side of things. Maybe somebody's doing something fun. And on the YouTube side, unfortunately, I don't have anything cool like that. So let's see if anybody's on right now. I don't really have anybody to them following right now, so I'll go ahead and drop, and I'll just see you guys probably later on, maybe tomorrow. I'll be on. I'm not gonna be back on later tonight, but probably later on this week I'll talk to you guys. So take care.